So let's get right into some of this stuff. So some breaking news that came out last night, actually, when I was researching. Israel explores resettling Palestinians from Gaza into South Sudan. For those of you that are unaware, South Sudan is the, where the, how do I say this? So my family's from Sudan. Sudan is the northern part, the Khartoum area. That is where the Arabs are, the Muslim Arabs majority. South Sudan are indigenous Africans that are a Christian majority, okay? They've been having a civil war for decades. Then what ended up happening was Sudan split into two pieces. Sudan used to be the biggest country in Africa. Now there's a South Sudan, okay? And that kind of fueled the current civil war going on in regular Sudan between Hemeti and the Sudanese army, right? He's with the rapid RSF versus the Sudanese military, right? And they kind of came and they started fighting for power after Omar Bashir was taken out. But anyway, that's a quick little thing on South Sudan. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Welcome back and Alive Now. I'm Austin Westfall. Live look at Jerusalem. It's, if I'm reading the clock correctly, doing my math correctly, 6:45 in the morning there, Israel Standard Time.
Shout out to Motive
Lots
Money
to
Mike
discuss.
for joining the OSS. I'm shouting out everybody that joins the OSS, guys. It's only $1 to join, bro. It's a no fucking brainer. This is how I'm able to continue doing my show despite the fact that I'm fucking demonetized. Keep giving y'all this fire. You guys already know. One of the realest when it comes to telling you guys the truth when it comes to women, news, politics, all this stuff. Because at the end of the day, I'm not paid by any of these fucking politicians, right? I'm not like, let's be honest. Some of the biggest political commentators on the right, bro, a lot of them are in bed with the Trump administration, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking that. But you can't rely on them to be like totally objective, right? So you guys know over here, you guys are going to get it straight. You guys know I like Donald Trump, but I'm no stranger to criticizing him when he does dumb shit. And what's been going on in the Middle East when it comes to Gaza and the Israelis has been a fucking disaster. I've been openly critical of this for a minute. And just so you guys know, get ready. There's absolutely going to be another war. Military experts are predicting that the next war is going to be at the end of this month. If it's not at the end of this month, it's absolutely going to be by the end of this year.
In the Middle East, as always, we do have retired Marine intelligence officer and host of the Strap podcast, Hal Kempfer, standing by. Hal, as always, thanks for coming on. Good to see you. So much going on in recent days. I want to start with something that you and I have discussed almost endlessly since October 7th. The idea of a day after plan for Palestinians. The AP has this, Hal. They say Israel is in discussions with South Sudan about the possibility of resettling Palestinians.
Noodles, thank you so much for the 5 gifted, bro. Appreciate
from Gaza to the East African country. The outlet says that it's part of a wider effort by Israel to facilitate mass immigration from the territory left in ruins by its 22-month offensive against Hamas. South Sudan, Hal, is this a new idea to you? Why might they think South Sudan makes sense? And
now, I'll be honest with y'all, bro. South Sudan is fucking trash. It sucks. I like sending Palestinians to South Sudan is like taking someone that has like a modest apartment in fucking Austin, Texas, and like telling them like, oh, you got to go sleep on the streets of San Francisco. Like, bro, it is a huge fucking downgrade, bro. Huge downgrade. And on top of that, you're putting Arab Muslim Palestinians with Christian indigenous Africans that just got done fighting with Arab Sudanese that are Muslim. Bro, I don't know who the fuck came up with this idea, but
redacted.
Some stupid ass nigga said I'm Somalian. All right, bro, you're getting banned for 30 minutes, stupid ass nigga. I'm not Somalian. That's a fucking insult. You fucking loser. I'm not Somalian, I'm not Ethiopian, I'm not Eritrean. Fuck out of here, bro. That's an insult, man. The fuck do I look like? Do I look like the captain now, bitch?
If this ends up a reality, would these people be moving from one war-torn area to another?
Austin, you actually kind of hit the nail on the head. They're moving from one war-torn, Civil War strife-torn area to another that's been just...
Yeah, and I would argue it's going to be even worse because South Sudan, those people don't like Muslims and they don't like Arabs. They literally just got done doing a war with the Arab Sudanese for decades. Okay? So those guys in South Sudan hate people like me, bro. They hate guys like us. Light-skinned, good-looking. Arabic speaking. You know? They hate us, bro. So putting Palestinians there is fucking
redacted.
You know, the same. They're moving from one area that has now become synonymous with famine to another area that was synonymous with famine. But you look at all the different places. First off, Gaza is devastated. And if this military operation to clear out Gaza City and some camps south of Gaza City actually takes place, there really won't be a whole lot left in Gaza that's habitable. So they're really by necessity, they're having to move them out. They're saying it's a voluntary relocation, but when you have absolutely nothing, I'm not quite sure how voluntary that really is.
Absolutely not voluntary. Guys, this has been the Israeli strategy the whole time, bro. For those that are unaware, number one, it was never about the hostages. It was about getting the land. That land that Gaza is sitting on, guys, is land that is high fucking level real estate. It's right on the beach, okay? And now, what a lot of Israelis like to say is, oh, Myron, we gave it back to the Palestinians in 2005. Well, let me tell you, stupid ass nigga, something, all right? When you guys gave it back in 2005, you didn't really give it back. Every dumbass fucking Zionist always says that they gave it to the Palestinians. They got all of their fucking Israelis out of there. There's not one Jew that lives in Gaza. What they didn't tell you is this: they control the airspace, they control the food going in, they control the water, they control the plumbing, the power, everything. They control everything. So they even control the fucking water where they fish. Okay, so them sitting there saying like, "Oh look, we gave you all the land." No, you didn't, bro. They have no sovereignty. It's an open air prison. They can't leave. They're stuck there. And everything that they get is contingent upon you niggas being happy. Okay? How do you guys think that they're systematically fucking starving them right now? I wonder why. Because they're fucking occupying them. According to international law, what Israel is doing to Gaza is 1,000% occupation. All right? But now, the truth is that they've been occupying them all this time, trying to figure out what they're going to do with them. October 7th happened. Gives them the ability to have an excuse to fucking level it, make it so unbearable that none of them want to stay there, and then they're going to ship their asses off to Egypt, Libya, and Jordan. That's what's going to happen. They're going to want to go ahead and get rid of these guys and take that land for themselves. It was always the plan. The hostages are just pawns in the greater scheme to fucking land grab it. Okay? That's what it was really about. And now we're here.
Is. But here's the issue. You know, they floated the idea of maybe Egypt could take them, maybe Jordan could take them. Both Egypt and Jordan said no, absolutely not. And by the way, both those countries, especially Jordan, have taken a lot of Palestinian refugees in the past, so they said no. Syria isn't a place to do it, and I don't think Syria would be interested into doing something like that. So you start to run out of country.
Now here's another Zionist argument that they make all the time. Oh, Myron, nobody wants to take the Palestinians in. Yeah. Because they got their own fucking land that you motherfuckers stole. Dude, when I hear these stupid ass Zionists say no one wants to take the Palestinians in because they're troublemakers, bro, if you have a neighbor, right? Let's say you and your neighbor get along, you guys are cool and everything else like that, and somebody comes in and just robs your house, right? And they kick you out. Your neighbor will host you for a day or two, but they're not going to want you living there forever, okay? So what your neighbor will probably want to do instead is help you get your house back. That's exactly what's going on in the Arab world. These other Arab countries, except for Jordan and Egypt, because they're fucking cucked, basically have been aligning themselves to help the Palestinians get their land back. Because nobody wants to take anybody on. And for these dumbass Israelis to sit there and be like, oh, bro, see, nobody wants the Palestinians. Nigga, your best friend wouldn't want you in his house either.
Fatality.
That's such a fucking
Redact.
argument. I got dumbass idiots like Vivid Prowess, a stupid fucking Jeet, right, on Twitter saying no one wants to take the Palestinians back. Nigga, how do you sound? Your parents don't even want to fucking take you back. Fuck you talking about, bro? Nobody wants to be responsible for nobody, especially when they got their own fucking house. Says, dude, these Israelis, these motherfuckers don't believe in God. Nigga was born in fucking Brooklyn, changed his name to Mordecai, moves to fucking the West Bank, and says, oh, God promised me this land 4,000 years ago. Wait, hold on, bro. What the hell? Wasn't your name fucking Ernest a month ago? You changed it to Mordecai? Yeah. But I thought you were atheist. Yeah. So how did God promise you this land? Don't worry about that. This is my land now. Bro, this shit is going on in the West Bank every day. No one talks about it. I posted it the other day. I posted it last night. Bro, they're stealing land in the West Bank every fucking day, dude. Settlers, Israeli settlers, niggas from Brooklyn, going over to Palestine saying, oh, God promised me this land. Nigga, you're white. So? Your fucking grandparents are Ukrainian. So? This ain't your land. Yes, it is. Get the fuck out of here, man. This is the craziness, bro. This is the craziness. If you guys saw what was going on in the West Bank, demolishing homes, stealing land brazenly, just walking up to dudes, taking their land. Yo, they killed an American citizen last month. While I was at the TPUSA event that weekend, they killed an American Palestinian from fucking Tampa, bro. They killed him. A bunch of settlers. All the settlers have AR-15s, and the IDF patrols it. So not only do these settlers all have rifles, they have rifles and the IDF backs them up. The Palestinians don't have no guns. So they just lose their land all the time, bro. It's one of the worst things ever. Here's another thing. Those settlements in the West Bank are fucking illegal. Allahu Akbar! Okay? And this isn't Myron Gaines telling you guys that it's illegal. The entire international community condemns the settlements and says they're fucking illegal. So when dumbass Mike Johnson, okay? Stupid ass nigga that's a fucking evangelical Christian that
redacted.
When he's over there in the West Bank taking pictures of shit, bro is on an illegal settlement. I don't know what else I need to show. I covered this all last week, by the way, if you guys are wondering. They were supposed to talk about the Epstein files. They take an early recess, Congress, they take an early fucking recess and haven't went to Israel, bro. Bro, Epstein, that could wait. That could wait, man. Let's go to Tel Aviv, nigga. What? The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, bro. I need you guys, look at me, bro. Okay? I know I'm not Somalian or Ethiopian, but look at me. Look at me. The Speaker of the House is the third most powerful position in the United States. You guys understand that if, God forbid, something happens to Donald Trump or J.D. Vance, so I don't wish bad on anybody, that Johnson will become the President of the United States? Do y'all get that? The Speaker of the House is actually the most, my guy Ivan Rickland says that the Speaker of the House, he thinks it's the most powerful position in government. And he actually made some good points about why he thinks that. Because they pretty much run the purse strings. A lot of political analysts will tell you that the most powerful person in the United States in the government is actually the Speaker of the House. Right? I'm not here to have that debate. The point I'm trying to tell you guys is the third most powerful person in our government is hanging out, taking pictures in illegal fucking settlements. And then he convened an early recess when we were supposed to be figuring out what the fuck we're going to do with the Epstein files.
Countries, they talked about Sudan. Well, that's an interesting idea. They're in a massive civil war right now. But South Sudan, one of the newer countries, 2011, it was formally stood up as South Sudan, although it was recognized by many countries going back to 2005 before, and had been independent before that, I should mention. But it has a very different demographic. One of the reasons that there's always been this fighting there is because it's predominantly Muslims in the north, and South Sudan is over 60% Christian.
Yes, and it's indigenous Africans, like niggas that look like fresh. All right? Like spear checker niggas, man. Okay? Like it's literally gonna be spear chucker niggas, man. That's what South Sudan is. Right? So putting Muslim Arabs in South Sudan is fucking ridiculous. I don't know who the hell thought this was a good idea. That's why I need to get in the government, baby. I could have been told, like, bro, Mr. President, this is a hard idea, bro. I don't know what the fuck you're thinking, bro. But putting a bunch of Muslim Arab Palestinians in South Sudan after the South Sudanese literally just fought the Arab Northern Sudanese for decades is a really bad idea.
You stupid.
But then again,
And it's very different tribes, very different demographics, if you will. And I think the South Sudan's looking at this and they're thinking, we might be able to get some consideration. They could certainly use some security assistance. Israel could certainly provide a lot of security assistance that they need. There could be other countries that could step in. I think South Sudan's kind of looking at this thinking this might be an opportunity here if we open ourselves up to the refugee business. And of course, the question then becomes, will they stay? Will they go? And you deal with they might, over a period of time, a number of the Palestinians will probably find some way to go somewhere else. I don't think they're going to want to stay inside.
Yeah, disaster, bro. It'll never work. Whoever came up with the proposition of South Sudan's a fuck.
Redacted.
South Sudan forever. But it's going to take a long time to.
No way it's going to work, bro. No way. No fucking way, bro. The people of South Sudan hate Arab Muslims, man. They absolutely hate them.
Rebuild Gaza. It's not clear if the Palestinians or how many of the Palestinians will come back to Gaza once.
They'll never let them back. Bro, they didn't even let them back with the right of return. No, man. They're going to turn Gaza into Dubai. That's the plan. They're going to turn Gaza into Dubai, bro. Let me give you guys a big red pill, right? Roughly almost 2 years ago now. I went to United Arab Emirates, right? And I went to Dubai within the UAE. Now, I told you guys this before, but I'm going to tell you guys again. Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. The UAE is basically a cleaner and safer Miami without black people. W. You guys know, around the blacks, you can't relax. So I always like it when there's less melanin, if you know what I'm saying. Dubai has basically created what I call a city arms race in the Middle East, right? We always talk about nuclear arms races, etc. What Dubai has done is it's created a city arms race. Let me explain. So the city of Dubai is something like 90% immigrants, okay? Like 90%. You go to that motherfucker, you're going to see so many goddamn Jeets, Bangladeshis, Pakistanis, Filipinos, etc., right? And I'll tell you guys this because when I went to Dubai, I was trying to practice my Arabic. As many of you know, I can speak Arabic, right? I'm a conversational Arab speaker. You know, my family is from Sudan. I grew up, English is my first language, but I do know how to speak Arabic very broken. So one of the things that I do is when I'm around my parents or around Arab speakers, I try to practice and work on my Arabic. So when I went to Dubai, I was really excited. I was like, yes, I could fucking work on this shit and get my Arabic back on par. There was no one to practice with. There's not many Emiratis that actually live in Dubai. They all live in, oh my God, I can't think of the city. Abu Dhabi. The other major city in UAE, they live in Abu Dhabi. They don't live in Dubai. But let's get back to the point here. So Dubai has successfully been able to create a city where you have mass immigration while forcing assimilation while simultaneously keeping crime down. Okay? So they have mass immigration, no crime, and they still assimilate to the culture. Okay? Dubai is so safe, guys. I'll tell y'all a funny little story and I'll keep going into this. I met a girl there, right? And we were like having a coffee or some shit like that. She was a Moroccan. We had to go somewhere to like a store or some shit like that. Forget what it was, right? That was like across the street. So, okay, let's go. I kid you not, guys. We're sitting at the coffee shop. It's outdoors. There's an indoor portion, outdoor portion. She leaves her purse and her phone as we're getting up. I'm like, are you going to take your purse and your phone? She's like, oh, no, it's Dubai. I'm like, what? Just got up, left her shit there. Purse, credit cards, ID, phone, left it all there. Yeah, let's go. So we go to the store real quick, come back like 10, 15 minutes later. Everything's there. Nobody touched it. Like nothing had happened. And I was like, holy shit. There's no crime in Dubai, guys. It's actually fucking nuts. Okay? Now, the reason for this is because they basically run an apartheid system, but that's a whole other conversation if you guys want me to go down that road. But the point is that there's no fucking crime there. So I'm going to spin this back and we're going to link this to Gaza right now. So Dubai has created a very successful model that many other Arab countries have looked at and said, we need to replicate this because they have a safe environment and a lot of foreigners go there. A lot of Westerners are in Dubai, guys. And it's because they don't have taxes, etc. It's a very good place to be if you want to be an entrepreneur. So it brings in a lot of money. So the rest of the Arab world is looking at this saying like, damn, they're generating a lot of fucking money. We need to emulate that. So Saudi Arabia, recently, a lot of women to drive. I know. They lowered their restrictions on alcohol, and they started to open up clubs. So in other words, they're trying to westernize, right? They're bringing more. They're trying to bring UFC over. They're trying to do deals with WWE. They're trying to westernize to kind of collect some of that tourist money. Okay? And we see this going all across the Middle East. So Dubai started the trend of let's run a safe, clean, metropolitan area where we accept immigrants and foreigners while maintaining strict rule of law and make a bag doing it. And now the rest of the Arab world wants to emulate that. Now, why does this apply to Gaza? This applies to Gaza because there's a lot of money that can be made doing this, right? So what they want to do, this is my prediction, in the next 20, 30 years, they're going to try to make Gaza like a Dubai or like some of these other rich Gulf state areas. This is my analysis. This is my prediction of what they're going to do. Because the success of Dubai has put a fire under the ass under the ass of the rest of the Arab world in the Middle East, especially the Gulf states who have too much money and don't know what to do with it. These Gulf state countries have a fuck ton of money. So they're like, all right, we got a lot of money. Let's invest it back into the country. How can we do it? That's how they're going to do it. So that's what they're trying to do with Gaza. And I see a bunch of you guys in the chat saying, yep. Thank you. Anyone that's been to the Middle East, anyone that's been to Dubai, anyone that's been to these Gulf state areas or understands Arab culture or Muslim culture knows that's what they're trying to do right now. So I predict that Gaza is going to be the next Dubai. That's why they want to get rid of the Palestinians, clean it up, build up nice high rises, make it an international city. If you guys watched the first press conference that Trump did with Netanyahu, when he talked about we're going to take Gaza, we're going to cherish it and all this other dumb shit he was saying, what he really meant was we're going to turn it into an international city like Dubai and we're going to make a lot of fucking money. All right? Cool. Let's get back to it. Y'all better like the video, bro. It's fucking 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm in here giving y'all fucking top tier analysis. Now you ain't going to get nowhere else.
It is rebuilt, so there's it's a fascinating idea. It's not something I would dismiss out of hand. It is actually a viable possibility. Of all the possibilities out there, it is viable, although, as you mentioned at the start, yeah, they're moving from one war-torn area with famine to another war-torn area with famine.
It's also not completely clear if this were to be reality and they were to go somewhere else, Palestinians. Also not clear what would be happening in Gaza in the interim, correct? Presumably they would be rebuilding, they'd be cleaning up. But there's no concrete plan, there's no concrete details. None of this is really being discussed at a concrete level, Hal, correct?
Well, there's no concrete plans, but I guarantee the plans will involve a lot of concrete by the time it's done. They have to do a lot of work there. That area is destroyed.
Yeah, they're talking about it's going to take like 10 years just to get rid of the rubble, bro.
I saw some interesting before and after pictures, looking across the border, and you simply see areas today that were full of buildings and homes that there's not one home that isn't seriously damaged, and most of the buildings are simply leveled. And that is kind of indicative of all of Gaza. And, for decades, it was talked about what would it take, at least for the last 15 years, what would it take to get Hamas out of Gaza? And there were some pretty dire predictions of what a military operation like that would look like. Well, I would say this military operation, or what's happening in Gaza, is certainly amongst the most dire things that I've seen, and it definitely matches some of the more pessimistic predictions of what would happen. But it does tell you just how how ingrained Hamas was in Gaza and how ingrained it was within the population there. So very difficult to get them out. And by the way, we're seeing a really tough operation coming up going into Gaza City. That is a dense area. It's about 1 million people. They got to get those people out. This is a good time to talk about where do you put them. And of course, you got not just surface stuff, not just the buildings. You got all that subterranean, all those tunnels, everything else, and then trying to go in there and rescue hostages in that environment. It is going to be a very, very complex, demanding operation. And that's why Israel's pulling up 400,000 reservists. They're getting ready. They're making it very clear that they're going.
Not only that, they're going to go ahead and go to war with Iran as well. Let me read some of these chats that I missed.